Miss Frida. All right, all right. All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you all across the world. Welcome to today's daily meeting where you get a behind the scenes look of how the ATSJR companies is run. As always, please have whatever you use to take notes because nuggets are always dropped each and every day. And then if you have a question at any time about whatever it is you got a question about, business, life, whatever, please be sure to ask your question so that you can get it answered, so that you can grow to the level that is worthy of you. All right. All right. All right. Now I'm about to pass it over to our founder and CEO of the ATSJR companies, from Galveston, Texas, millionaire maker, innovative creator, Mr. Antonio T. Smith Jr.
All right, Grand Rising. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We do appreciate you. Some super preliminary things at the way we're making some good headway now that we are officially up and running in a good way on the speaker secrets. You have an appointment when? Well, it's just soon. You have another appointment soon. Good. So that works there. And then we're doing just good stuff all around Thursday. Okay. And good stuff all around. So we're happy about that. I have finished. It came out a tad bit later than normal. Well, not normal because I told you yesterday, but it was a big file. So we did finish the ATS sales model. All right. That's the official cover for it. Trying to get, do a little Gary V-S there. So we did do that. I'm going to show you just a portion of that this morning. You have to go watch it on your own. Okay. You have to go watch it on your own. It's Frida, you don't have a choice. All right. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice right there. The link is in the content that just came out seconds ago. The link is in the chat. I mean, that's what I meant to say. And the Grace, you're gonna have to post that maybe 3 or 4 times so people are still gonna be filing in.
Gotcha.
All right, there we go. So here is the video, and it plays a good point, ties into what we're talking about today, which is becoming a resource 3 times, still inside the bigger picture. I could have called it the bigger picture part 2, but everything is still the bigger picture. Here we go. If you ask me, this is one of the greatest videos I've ever, not from talent or anything. It's my sales process updated. And if you look at it, you will see all sorts of great things. You'll see how my brain works, for one, if you like that kind of stuff. But you can also steal this. This is, let's just call this my version of Gary V's slide deck of his content making process, right? Gary V's content model, well, here's Antonio's sales model. How about that? Okay, we're gonna call it that. Gary V's content model, Antonio's sales model. If you go download Gary V's content model and watch this, and I'll write up something so you can download my sales model at the same time. If you do that, there's no reason that you shouldn't be great. I see no reason at all. No reason. So pay attention. Videos just like 23, but you're breaking all down. Plus, at the very end, the whole Word document that Grace typed everything up is on there. In addition to that, depending on how you're looking at this platform, I copied and pasted that same document in the show notes or Nixon News article or something like that. So Antonio's sales model, Gary V's content model, and Grant Cardone's brain. There you go. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can't play better. You can dominate. Giving each prospect 8 hours of information on Antonio. Skipped a little bit. Got 2, but I'm missing +1. Right? Off of 1 product. Not worried about company money, because if I fulfill your dreams, boom. Math is math. So if we have the sum, then mathematical formula is add on plus add on equals sum. Right. I've already figured this problem out, but I'm talking it out because I need you to become me. And I need you to write this down, what I just said. I need you to teach yourselves, new salespeople that's coming, old salespeople that's here. All right, make y'all watch that rest on your own later. But I did want to show that to you because Today, specifically, we're talking about becoming a resource in 3 places. What you see is you see me walk my brain through creating this new sales process. And I don't think we had to create another one for quite some time. And you'll be robots before I have to create another one, because this is pretty solid. And you'll see it. You'll see us go through it. And then every time I say something, it special effects itself on the screen when I say something important. Plus, the entire show notes, so to speak, is the full Word document of that as well. In addition to that, here is, and at the very end, the video contains this here. Contains this. Like, don't worry about it. You don't have to take a screenshot. It's part of the video. And then what I'm going to do, of course, it's a little bigger on there. Then what I'm going to do is maybe today or tomorrow, I'll write up an official Mexit news. For those of you, this is your first time here, you go to mexitverse.com, and that's our news station. And it's big. It reaches a lot of people. So on there, on Mexit News, it'll be the ATS sales model, that video, that document, but then I'll write up a full article explaining a bunch of stuff on it. And maybe, well, maybe not maybe, I'll even put together or I'll have Deanna, somebody, it won't be me. I'll do the text, but I'm not doing the girly stuff because that's not my gift. I'll have one of them make a really good PDF slide deck out of it, because when you go through it, you'll see it. When you go through it, you'll see, and not only did I break sales down, but we've come up with a way to generously pass discounts to the customers / prospects. In addition to that, we've come up with a way to serve them throughout the week. Some of them already have received messages today. Who is it? Who you sent messages to today already?
I've sent messages to Kim Landry, to Zandria, to Aaron Green, to Cedric Towner. Yes, that's who it's been sent today.
They can't see who Zandria is. What's her name on the screen?
Oh, her name on the screen is Braid Surgeon.
There you go. There you go. So these people all got messages, but they were messages according to their dreams. Nothing sold. Hey, you mentioned this. Here is something that will accelerate that you don't have access to. And most of these things, they don't have access to. But most of the things don't have access to because I got a lot of stuff hidden away on purpose. A lot of stuff hidden away. And some stuff is just, it's a million video. Well, it's not a million video, but it's definitely way too many hours up on YouTube for sure alone, plus other places. So between YouTube and the cloud, the other cloud that we have, then you're talking about 1 million plus hours. Who wants to sift through that just to find their dreams? You know, it's a needle in a haystack. So what we've done is we're just pushing people to where they want to go faster. If that doesn't make sense to you, the best way I can say it is what's the guy name? Zig Ziglar. There you go. Zig Ziglar. This why this quotes escape me. This Zig Ziglar says, the more you help people get what they want, the more you can have what you want. All right. And that's it. I always remember the quote, never remember who said it, because I read too many books and listen to too many seminars. But there you go. So that's that. Now, why did I start with this? Well, first off, if this is your first time here, which is a lot of first time here people, your job is to steal. That's your whole job, because we've done well during the pandemic and whatever now is. I'm not sure what they're calling this part is. Now we don't care about the pandemic. We packing out in 75 plus thousand people in the stadium. We don't care. So from the pandemic to we don't care pandemic, right? You know, we've done well, and we've built a lot of things, and we've done a lot of things, and God has been good. And somewhere in the beginning of that last year, maybe a year before now, because it's been so long. Remember I told y'all that the Federal Reserve president said, be ready for 18 months of this. Mm-hmm. I said that like month one of the pandemic, and well, not y'all, but some people was like, well, here we is. Here we is, for sure. And I told y'all, he said 18 minutes. I mean 18 months, but I don't trust my government. So I'm gonna just go ahead and tell y'all 24 months is what I told you. So there you go. And here we is. We still here, Grace. We still here. 24 months in. But we got to get you to where you can make money in your sleep. Is that today is specifically about becoming what some people will call a thought leader in 3 different areas. I'm like LeBron James. I'm really good at a lot of things. I would like to be like Michael Jordan and just jump and dunk on people all day. But I pass the ball well too. You understand what I'm saying? So I pass the ball well too. And I shoot threes as well too. So there's 3 areas that I want to become a supreme resource. Remind me to define that the way I see it. And then 5 areas I want to dominate in. Only 3 of them do I care. Nope, I just changed my mind all of a sudden, just right now. Nope. 5 areas I want to become a supreme resource in. 5 areas. I just changed my mind. So don't worry about it. I just changed my mind, like on the spot, just like that. 5 areas. Well, today's topic is now becoming a resource in 5 areas, and not 3. All right. Becoming a resource. The days of being relevant without being a resource are over. We was talking to some of people yesterday. We were on the phone, and we were telling them you have to become a resource. And if you want to do this, then you've got to become an influencer, or you have to do this. Now, we're not talking about the idea of being popular. We're talking about the idea that people can't breathe until you tell them what to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is, everybody here has somebody that when you have to do something important, put together a keynote real quick. You can't think of an idea. You got somebody, you YouTube or Google real quick. Everybody here has, when it's time, when you're frustrated and Susan says, calm down, okay, calm down. That's what Susan says. Calm down, relax, go meditate. And you're like, I don't know what to meditate at. You go type in Abraham Hicks or Lisa Nichols, somebody. Everybody has somebody that is your go-to for whatever that thing is. I need you to be that for somebody too. This is the basis of today's discussion. It's not just the basis, that's the heart, the fundamental fabric of today's discussion. That when somebody needs inspiration, they listen to you or read you and find their inspiration. Okay. And without you, they can't find it. They have to. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something. I'm talking about. All right, let's. Because I'm in my zone. We got the mastermind right after this shit. I'm talking about something completely different than what you're accustomed to. I'm saying, Najee, that when it's time for you to do something, we're going to use Abraham Hicks, and we're going to use vortex thinking. Right? That's something. Just something that. All right, Abraham Hicks, vortex thinking, things attracted to you or energy you're shooting off with rockets of desires. These are her. These are this all her lingo. Okay, this all her lingo. Now, once we get there, you say, "Oh, I say, Najee, what I need you to do is I need you to talk about how people are attracting things to them, good and bad. And I need a very good detailed report about it for 25 minutes. And Najee says, I don't know how to talk about that stuff for 25 minutes, not very good detail. So then she goes to YouTube and she types in Abraham Hicks vortex.
Yes.
There was something secret there that everybody understood but don't want to admit. Najee panicked, which she should have, because it's not in her gift, but it's in her gift of speaking, but not that particular category. And she didn't lean on her own understanding and go to God.
Watch it.
She went to the resource.
Watch yourself.
Do you hear me? I'm trying to, all you preachers out there.
You mean she didn't pray?
No,
went to the resource.
that's it.
I went to the resource, but not to the source.
There you go.
Watch
There
it.
you go. Right?
And that's totally against my nature.
but that's what we want, though, right? That's what we want. You want people before they go to the source to go to you. You understand what I'm saying? This is genuine. We're not. This isn't meant to be offensive to your deity of choice, but I am speaking real facts. Like if you want, you say
Antonio.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So my dad is an imam, an Islamic scholar, and he
Nice.
says once. So he says that if you can make the word of God easier to understand, people will come to you. But if what you say about the word of God is more difficult to understand than the actual word of God, people will bypass you and go to that resource. So it's more about accessibility. It's more about what is easier to understand, what is easier to get to, than what is the actual good resource.
Absolutely. You just gave me a story I want to talk about here in a second. He's absolutely correct, because your job is to make it very easy. To be honest with you, God made this understanding stuff pretty easy. And then scholars came behind it and, kind of complicated it up a little bit, But it is true. When I went to, so for those of you who don't know, I'm in a lot of the things I've learned along the way came from three of the weirdest places on planet Earth. The first one was Joel Osteen in Lakewood Church. The second one was Little Caesars. Like, genuinely, the way I run this company and maintain its resources and keep everything fresh is exactly Little Caesars. I kid you not. It is exactly Little Caesars. I keep everything fresh, but maintain the resources. It's 100% Little Caesars. It really is. It really is. And then Les Brown. I learned when I learned how to tell my story. That was like the unlocking key for me to condense 40 years into 3 minutes. That was the unlocking key for me. When I figured that out, I was like, oh, well, I got everything I need. You know what I'm saying? Right, et cetera. Three unlikely sources. I'm going to talk about Joel Osteen. When we got there, we was at some other mega church in some place in Dallas. I forget what it's called right now. And they were talking about Joel Osteen and the Pinnacle Theory. And I never heard of it. And it was this guy breaking it down. And I would now repeat to you in the Antonio Smith way, the way he said it. He said, the Pinnacle Theory is when, this is what Abraham said, the Pinnacle Theory is something at the highest expression of itself. And when, like, at its pinnacle, and when that happens, that thing needs to do nothing. Everything comes to that thing. It's what Abraham just said. And the whole point is to stay true to yourself and to stay true to yourself and to make sure that you are at your greatest pinnacle possible. This is why they get so mad at me around the office. I be getting on their nerves. Oh yeah, Najee, for sure. Then he went on to say, think about Joel Osteen. He inherited a 5,000 member church, took it to 43,000 people in attendance, 76 countries, and hundreds of thousands of online members where people move their countries and come to Houston and live on Highway 59, which if you don't understand what I just said, it's one of the stupidest things to do in Houston is to even look at Highway 59. It is, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. It just doesn't make any sense. You should never
Can we get
be
a view
there.
of it?
Yeah. So we give you a view.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
And Joel didn't even know or think or believe that he could do that. He had always been behind the scenes. He
Right,
was all
17 years behind the camera.
so he
Yep.
never thought that he could do that until he did. And when he did, boom.
Right. Boom. Right.
He didn't even want to do that.
Yeah.
He didn't even want that responsibility.
Well, and that's, but when everybody kept pressuring him, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, right? Do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. The point of that story the guy was telling you was, but Joel stayed himself and just got better at being himself. And he didn't have to go out and go get people. When you're at the pinnacle of what God made you to be, people come to you. You hear it? Now, later on, as I kept telling that story, that was what he said. I start Antonio Smith in that story up. Antonio likes examples and science. So let me retell this to you because I went and stretched that and proved it with science. If you take an apple, this apple, ripe and beautiful, green or red, matters not, is at the highest pinnacle of what an apple can be. And when you bite into this apple will give you life, nutrients, healing, get chemicals out your blood that shouldn't be there. This is what healthy food does. Put your blood at an alkaline state and bless you with the harmony of this universe. But if you never eat that apple, it will get past its pinnacle, right? It would get past its pinnacle. And then first law of thermodynamics to take over. Can never be created, never be destroyed. So it would go from red or green to brown, deteriorate, and go back into the ground in which it came from. Rewind, press play. If you, preachers, you might want to listen here. If you have an apple and the apple is at the highest pinnacle of its purpose, when you bite into it, it will sacrifice itself and give to you the harmony of this universe, nutrients, dilute your blood of chemicals, heal you of diseases. It would do everything it can to put your blood in an alkaline state. But if you do not use this apple at the pinnacle of its purpose, the universe will say, I put you back to where you came from. Deteriorate, that's now the second law of thermodynamics. We call it entropy. It means everything starts from order and it unravels to disorder. And I will, second law of thermodynamics, get you, since you didn't be used properly, Jerome, somebody see where I'm going, I will make sure you're not a blessing to the way you should have been, but I will deteriorate you and let everything around you be blessed by your destruction.
Wait a minute.
Old folk been telling you a long time, Frida, you gonna use it or lose it? Come on, help me, somebody. You understand, right?
Applies to everything except wine.
Well, yeah, right. The older the wine gets, the better. Cheese too. Because at the pinnacle of what you are, you don't have to go out to the world comes to you. When the apple is at its ripest, the apple doesn't start a product launch campaign. The apple needs to do no marketing. People say, where's the apples? This is apple seasoning time. I need to go find apples. And you either go to the store, you go to the forest, or wherever apples grow. You understand?
Yeah.
That's just what it is. It's the same thing with a car collision. I won't say an accident, because the accident implies no one is responsible. A car collision. Imagine driving up 45 North. If you're in this area, you've been there before. Every single highway in Houston is under construction, especially 290. It's been under construction for 40 years, and I'm 40 years old. It's just been under construction for that long. It's still under construction, but nevertheless, I digress. A car collision that has a fender bender. This is how it attracts things. You look at it, you drive around, you forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
A car collision where the car was totaled, but everybody's okay. You look at it, you pray for them, you drive 20 feet, you forget about them.
Yes.
A car collision that is really bad slows all the northbound traffic down.
Yes.
On the southbound side, that ain't got nothing to do with the car accident, it slows down too. Because everybody is now attracted, because this accident is almost at the pinnacle of what it could be. And all them onlookers and rubberneckers is what we call them, right? Are looking on the other side. And then all the smart people go to the feeder. And now that is backed up because everybody's trying to do the smart thing at the same time.
Yes.
But if you put a car collision at the pinnacle of its purpose and a death happens, ain't nobody moving. Not left side, not north side, not feeder. Cops go 2 miles down and tell you, turn around, go back that way. Because at the pinnacle of a car collision, which would be death, the whole world stops and looks at it.
Antonio,
Yes, ma'am.
we had that happen a few weeks ago here in Florida. There, it's when fog and smoke combined, and the visibility is like, less than. It's like, I don't know, just you can't see too far, like a car link in front of you can't see at all. And so there were with like 17 miles, there were 3 or 4 accidents, quite a few deaths and serious injuries. I mean, it like took over the whole day pretty much, and the news and everything else because of that. And both sides, like you say, both
That's
sides,
right.
because some of it had to come up the other way or turn around and use the highway to take the people, in the ambulance and all the things like that and all the equipment that they needed. So it's just kind of like what going on in the war over there,
And the whole world is stopping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sending Bitcoin and crypto and all sorts of stuff. That's what's happening, right? The whole world is stopping because that is at the pinnacle of something. For some, it's the pinnacle of injustice. For some, it's the pinnacle of getting back what's ours, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just, but it's definitely at the pinnacle. Well, now your perception will change what that pinnacle may mean, but it's definitely the highest thing you can do is go to war, right?
Affecting now with gasoline. So all of us that work from home, people are saying, just to go to work, I'm almost losing money putting gas in the car to get there. And, we're not having to deal with that. And, that work from home so much, fill up a tank and it'll last longer because we're not driving, we're not commuting.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's just what it is. That's just what it is. And I just noticed we got ATS royalty on the call. Sheena Curley, the good witch, is on the call. Yeah, just got ATS royalty. I just noticed that. I got you, Law. The idea, in order for you to, where we're talking about I'm talking about Pinnacle Theory. What's the name of the thing? Becoming a resource in 5 areas. I try to train. That means Antonio has to become the pinnacle of that, not in somebody else's view. Forget all that, because that's not how the universe works. It's just, I got to be the pinnacle in myself. Put a pin in that. We coming back to it, because I'll be getting on Deanna and Grace about that. Come on, Law.
Yeah, quick question. How much is the gas in Texas and or Florida? Apparently it's went up a lot in New York too, but I haven't been to the gas station.
Yeah,
in a while.
Texas will be fair enough. That's how you know you're on the East Coast. We could never say that down here. We ain't been to the gas station in a little while.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's like $3.33 or something right now for us. Texas will always be the lowest because because of our laws and Republicans. And we produce y'all gas anyway. So that's the truth. Most of y'all gas comes from Texas anyway. So that's a good point. Texas is like $3.30. Now, of course, we're upset about that. Don't get it twisted.
Yes.
Because it's supposed to be at $2, $1.99, and we prefer to go back to 99 cents. But that ain't happening. Yes, $3.90 yesterday. She
99 cents before?
Oh no, yeah, oh yeah, it used to be 99 cents. Yeah, when I was growing up, and I don't know when Phil was.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know what it was. It was probably free. In Texas, it's free gas. You just walk on the station and yes, are you human? All right, come on, buddy. All right, come get some gas. $3.90 yesterday. When I guess that's North Carolina for sure.
Yeah.
$4.25.
God bless.
Oh, she up there in Houston and them other crazy parts and them rich parts. That ain't the problem down here. That's for sure. That's for sure. How do you get to the highest point of what you're attempting to do? So I'm going to give you mine. That's why I start off with this video. Where is it? Well, I'll just repost the video link, Grace. I'll just put up the picture. That's much easier than doing the video. That's why I start off with this video. I created a sales model and I put it out there for free. Okay, the ATS sales model, and I put it out there for free. It's kind of similar to Gary Vee content model. And I broke it down, and the whole thing, I did it so well that my main motivation was to help Grace. And Grace is a master at sales and doesn't understand sales at the same time. Does that make sense? You see, is that accurate, Grace? Is that
Antonio?
Yes, sir.
Unconscious competence. Unconscious competence. That's the word.
That's the word. Unconscious competence. She's a master at it.
It's not mine. Jordan Belfort.
Oh,
Jordan Belfort.
All right.
Yeah. He's the one who coined it.
Good. Unconscious competence. And she don't know how to teach it. And when something breaks, that means she'll know how to fix it either. But if you fix it and put it back on the path, it's over. It's completely over. So we had to adjust to sales. Always the same, but sales model or the sales process should adjust with your company's. Write this down. It's a few things. Your company's goals, your company's ability to scale, your company's technology, and the worst one, your company's, did I say ability to scale?
Goals, ability to scale, technology.
And your company's ability or talent. Sorry. It does make a difference if someone can actually sell. It does make a difference. It does make a difference. What I mean by that is, let me look at it so I can go through it. Oh, put it in the chat for me. What I mean by that is if you're trying to grow, you got to change your sales process. So if your goal is to make $100,000 and you're currently making $50,000, most people are going to say, well, just keep doing what you're doing. And that may work. But I'm here to push back at that, because keep doing what you're doing doesn't necessarily work. I'll give you an example that no one can refute. And anybody here ever owned a restaurant? Anybody? No. I know. Well, yeah, Phil and Susan did. They did. That's right. That's right. Okay. Let me tell you about the restaurant business. When Phil and Susan kept doing what they was doing, they also kept getting more debt. Let me explain. Because the more you feed people, the more debt you have to acquire to feed people. And you say, well, you know what? We're going to do 2 stores. Okay. You just doubled your debt, doubled your overhead. You understand what I'm saying? This is the idea of some of y'all going out there, get hard, you'll get a second job. Oh, so you want to pay taxes 4 times. You're such a patriot because you pay taxes before you get your money. Then you pay taxes when you spend your money. So you want to get 2 jobs so you can do this all over again. We should just salute you right now. Yes, we ought to salute you right now, you patriot, you. No, I would never, ever, ever. And I get it because doing more doesn't always necessarily mean getting more. Because if doing more costs you more, it's not sales. And there's a great book on it. Well, it's not proper. There's a great book on this called Predictable Revenue by the CEO of Salesforce, actually, called Predictable Revenue by the CEO of Salesforce. And here's the premise of his book that he says, Phil, hiring more salespeople won't necessarily lead to more sales. And that's a fact. Just because you have more salespeople doesn't mean it's going to increase your profit. You may get more sales, but now you got more salary, got more payroll, got to pay more for prospecting, more mistakes, etc. So just because you're at 50,000 doesn't necessarily mean you can get to 100,000 by doing the same thing. And somebody needed to hear this morning because your sales process needs to be adjusted with those 4 things. And if I was you, I would write them down as fast as possible and stew upon it until the universe reveals its secrets to you. I can assure you, you need it. Goals, I got you. Your goals could be whatever you want, right? But you got to adjust your sales process to that. Maybe your goal is to get 1 million customers. All right, then, well, you obviously need a whole new sales process. You can't get 1 million customers with the same sales process. If it worked, you would have 1 million customers right now. And what happens when you get 1 million customers? I've been getting on Grace all this morning politely because she's doing a good job. About what, Grace?
Spending the extra 10 minutes after you talk with the person, you talk with the customer or client.
That's in our sales process. It's important to me. Why? Because ain't no sense of getting the Kims and losing the Kims. That don't make no sense. Well, I need somebody to help me. Y'all ever been into a church one day and it was like, man, it's 120 people up in here. 6 months later, where everybody went? That's because the back door and the front door are the same size.
Oh.
And
Yes, ma'am.
one of my very best friends, the one that loved my bracelet, my sand dollar bracelet.
Right, I remember that story.
She owns one of the most successful ice cream franchises in the country. And, you know, I talked to her a lot about sales and all the things. And the last couple of years, her husband died of cancer, and he was sick for quite a few years before that. So when she officially took over everything, she started increasing and increasing and increasing. They were always successful, but they jumped to the highest level of success. Just got back from the country's gathering of all the different franchises. And so she was going over some of the things that they want to do. And, you know, I was talking back and forth with her. And that's exactly all the things that you're talking about is really what she's been doing. And, you know, especially in regard to the talent, the people that are there.
Yep.
And, you know, she switched all that up and those sort of things in the sales process. So,
yeah, it's a work. But the cool thing is if you get it done, man, it's a relief. because most people think sales on the front end. Sales is on every end of your company. Front, back, side to side. It is. You know, got front, back.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? It literally.
UGK, huh?
Yeah. It really.
And the
is,
most
though.
important step is the follow-up after the sale.
Yes. That's where you get what Phil calls customer loyalty. Right. I think that's what he says, not customer service. Yeah, customer loyalty. I believe. Yeah, yes. You know, when you create the loyal customers and you bring them, your relationship. I got you next, Grace. Your relationship with your customers should be family-like, no matter how big you get. Amazon's really good at that. Amazon is really too big to be that good. They really are. They're too big to be that good. They should have already been disrupted. If you look at the history of companies, they get so big, they get arrogant, they stay in one market. Amazon acts like a nimble startup company. They're probably disrupting some industry right now that I'm not even thinking of. They disrupted the diaper industry. They really have. They really have. A lot of y'all go in the store and get diapers. A lot of people get them all offline at Amazon. They're now disrupting the grocery industry. There's no way in 2011 you would have said, I think Amazon should start delivering groceries one day. They ain't thinking about that. You would have thought they weren't even fresh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right, Phil. Right there, the Zappos. They're good. And wait till they just start. I know they are because I would do it. I would do it if I was them. But they finna get into virtual reality.
Oh, wait.
If Amazon ever
Amazon bought Zappos?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
know about that. I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
do some research today. Okay.
Oh yeah. I should have a picture for you. I'll put a picture up. I got to save it on my computer somewhere when I get to Grace. But you have to adjust your sales thing. And I'm not trying to be a resource. I'm not trying to be the best salesperson or the best sales company. That's not my goal. My goal is to make sales easily understandable and duplicatable at the very best rate for people who can't stand sales but desperately need them because they also can't stand being an employee too. Y'all, some of y'all out there right now. You're like,
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
I'm about two seconds, and she tell me one more thing. Yeah, I know what come after that.
Coming here another time about
That's
that
it.
same dumb
That's
thing.
it.
I told you about.
Kiss my ashy kneecaps.
That's it. And look, that we close in 5 minutes, and you gonna come in here with that. Some of y'all, you understand.
I plays no games, please. What? I'm sorry. Yes.
I don't need it. I don't even need my commission. You just go ahead out. Yeah, you go. So go to another one. Go to another one. We have to be good at something, and I'll give you my 5 areas. I said it before, but now I want to go in more detail about it. But go ahead, Grace, please.
You said in the book Predictable Revenue, you said just because you have more sales doesn't mean.
Just because you hire more salespeople doesn't mean you get more profit. You got more questions? Okay, good. No, just type it up first, and I get it because that's a fallacy, but that's a fact though. More salespeople does not mean more profit, and then more money don't mean more profit too. On top of that, what happens when you get there's been an organization in which people were really good at sales, but not good at creating community. And Susan still has to service these people to this day. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just because you can get 500 people, let me break it down this way and get ready to ask you a question. I don't want to be offensive to anybody, and this is gentle. It's not, but I don't want you to. I don't want y'all to take what I'm going to say and be like, Pastor. So don't go do that. Don't go do that. But I do need to tell you the difference between big church and small church. And it doesn't matter what your religion is, you can relate to this. Big church, small church.
Yeah.
Big church has somewhere to plug you into after you join. Small church does not. At the end of the day, I can simplify it just like that. Small church thinks plugging you into Bible study makes sense, but that really doesn't make sense. And I'm not talking about church, I'm talking about the business model, okay? I'm talking about the business model. Think about this, Arshia. Arshia, let me get in your business real quick, Arshia. I'm your mic. You're looking good today. Your dreads are curling well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, look at mine though. Look at that. Oh, I forgot. I thought I asked you the question.
You did.
Were you raised in church, mosque, something?
Yes, church.
Okay. And are you one of those scholars? You know what all the scriptures are? All of them?
No.
Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you so much. That's all I need to know. So it doesn't make sense to have, this is what we do, Jerome. We scare the hell out of her, literally. If you die, where you going?
That's it.
And all of a sudden she come in and say, all right, now go to Bible study, the most boring place in the world for someone who ain't on that level. Now, once you like Susan, Phil, Sister Booker, you're like, oh, this is a good, oh my God, you broke that down well. Jerome loves that. But Jerome took 40 years to get there. So you gotta have, you gotta have some foundation. It would be, don't you go to your pastor and say I said this, okay? But it would be highly more effective to say, Arshia, Naji started a small group. Now, this would not work for Muslims. This was only going to work for non-Muslims because Muslims don't drink. And what they do in this small group is it's women only because she's a woman. Yeah. And it's young women only because Naji's young. And for 1 or 2 hours a week, they sit down, sample wine. They get a little different flavors of wine and bond and talk about life and help each other out. That is fantastic. Yep. Because God's going to come up regardless. Yep. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. And now what you've done is you've put a bridge where she can walk up. You don't take someone from milk to well done steak. First off, none of y'all steaks should be well done, by the way. None of y'all steaks. You're killing the meat. You're killing the meat. But you get the point. You got to have something. Your company needs to continuously follow up with customers while they're already spent or spinning, because those customers need a place. And the reason why we're so good and all our programs work is because you make them all up. I don't make up these programs. We look at your psychological profile that we get on you, and everybody, when I start seeing the same theme, everybody keeps saying this. Everybody keeps saying this. Yeah, well, we need to do this because this keeps coming up. You understand what I'm saying? Or you get a class. Listen, that was a strangely weird class, Antonio. That was very specific of you. Yeah, because it came up 12 times. And so that's what we're doing. Like in the Speaker's Secrets, where one of the sections is how to get out your mosque into public speaking or your church into public speaking. You think we just came up with that because we're smart? Or every time we get on the phone with somebody, they're religious and trying to get out their church all the way to, the stage or whatever they're trying to do. You get what I'm saying? You had another question.
Yes. Someone private messaged me and asked if they could use the ATS sales model video in their monthly newsletter for their company to have a link for exposure of ATS.
Well, thank you for the link or exposure ATS. I appreciate you. You can do that anytime. If I put it out there, I expect you to steal it because I'm telling you to steal it. I'll push that further for you. You can take anything on Makes It News. So if you really want a newsletter, it's hundreds, almost 1,000 things on Makes It News. You could just take from there. And I'll do you one even better. You can take anything I teach, add your opinion to it, and pass it on as your own. Don't bother me one bit. don't bother me one bit, because you don't do me well broke. It is. I learned very young, and life is easier when the people around you are happy and not struggling. It's easier to work with people when you've given them the opportunity to know what you know and have what you have. It's much easier. It's much easier. If not, envy, when envy grows, it always ends in death. You know what? This is let me forget the rest of the call. I feel like I'm supposed to stay right here just for a second. So thank you so much. We're going to have Antonio call me about book deal. Unlikely source. All right, dude, no problem. Ibrahim, get ready, because I'm not gonna write it. Well, you actually gonna need my help though, because that was a biblical scholar, so you actually gonna need my help. So there you go. But nevertheless, let's stay on this Emmy real quick before the next 8 minutes before we go. I'm done. Go to Grace. Put the YouTube link out. If I were you, go to the sales model, because it's something literally that should have been an irresistible offer. Like, I should say, you want to increase the sales, right, at your business. You want to go from this to that. I should do that and make a whole funnel around it. But inspired, or at least having an example of what Gary V did and helped everybody. It gave me the same thing. Yes, sir.
I know you're getting ready to wrap up.
You good?
I know that what you're saying works. Oh, I know it works. But I would like for you to explain, why should I follow what you just told me? Or why should I? Because I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
And what you say sounds good.
Yep.
But please, Mr. Smith, as you wrap up,
yes,
tell me, why in the hell
should
I listen to what you just told me?
Fair enough. So I'm going to give you one reason. It's going to be bifurcated. Esoteric reason, practical reason. Okay? Practical reason is you suck. And if you want to get better, you should probably get with somebody who doesn't suck. Because sucking don't look good on you. At least not that kind. You understand? This is what it is. This is what it is. Practically, this is all about you. And if you want more money, and this isn't, nobody here is for the money. That doesn't mean you don't want money. But we all know you're going to do some great things with it. Well, you know what? I don't believe you until you show me. So I don't know that you're going to plant that church, donate to your mosque, until you actually do it. And until you do it, I can't brag about you. And until you fix your sales process, you can't do it. That's practical. Esoteric side, it's the same answer. Success means that you are in harmony with the laws of success. Not success means you are in disharmony with the laws of success. And it's too hard, Najee, to be wandering around researching laws of success and trying to remember all 100, 1,000, how many is it? Too many. It's much easier to say, what do I want to do? All right, I want to be a woman with a good husband that has had a faithful life, prayer life, good grandkids, house with the white picket fence, and I'm leaving a legacy to my grandchildren. Is there anybody who is a woman that disagrees with anything I just said? Okay, so what you do is you look at Sister Booker.
Okay.
And you say, whatever the hell she doing, that's what I'm gonna do. It's that simple. It is that simple. Because if you don't got to know the laws, if she got it, she's clearly in harmony with them. So you emulate her, you emulate Susan. They've been married longer, both of them been married longer than I've been born.
This is true.
So they're kind of successful. Yes, ma'am.
There's one thing though that I might want to implement that she does.
What's that?
For date night, her husband has to go outside and ring the doorbell. And she opens the door and lets
She did say that. She said that was on the speech call, was it? On the bureau, was it?
Yes,
That
it
was too
was.
funny.
And it worked.
Funny.
Oh, yeah. You never know. She might not.
I want to
only
take that myself.
All right, men, we would be ringing said doorbell soon. That is too funny. No, that's a good question though, Jerome. I'm sure you was throwing me alley-oop, but I mean, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Listen well. You have to find it in yourself to say to yourself, I want this. All right, then who got it? Oh, well, they got it. Now, at that point, you got to stop being so poor-minded and stop saying, well, I want to be unique. I mean, you could be unique after you master this. Figure out what Grant Cardone did, what Antonio did. Make that work. Make it work 1,000 times and then make your own way. I didn't invent my own sales process just now because I stole people's process for years. Got mastered all that stuff. And now I know enough about sales to where I can say, all right, Grace, well, you got to watch it. But Grace had a problem. Grace had an 880-hour problem. And I took her 880-hour problem and reduced it to 8 hours. That's not something you read in a book. That's something you have to be in the industry. You have to be doing, just to understand. And you can see that video is not planned. I was doing it. When Deanna walked in, I was like, you know what, this should be recorded. And you can see me thinking, but I had already figured out the problem. I already figured out the problem, but I'm making sure Grace connect the dots. And I keep repeating and and you'll see it, get it wrong, then get it right. I keep repeating it because she has to connect those dots because she needs to teach Frida because I'm not. If I got to teach Frida, somebody fired. You understand what I'm saying? And then she has to do it. Yes, ma'am.
I want to say
you
this
good?
real quick, but my supervisor coming.
I know that's right.
But when you said about being unique, you could do that later. One of the things that I have found that is so very true with following you up until this point, which has been a year, thank you, Jesus, is that within following you, there are things that come in that help me to understand why my uniqueness is important and finding out what makes me unique. And not only finding out what makes me unique, but to be able to grasp the other things that will continue to help me to flow in that same level of uniqueness, if that makes sense, and level up to the next level of that. Okay.
That makes sense.
I love y'all.
Yeah, I love you too. Love you too. I'm going to wrap this up, but listen, tell everybody to come to the mastermind here. I'm open up to the public, but don't worry about it. The mastermind won't be 2 hours. It shouldn't be 2 hours a day. I'm open up to the public. It's one of the things going into the Influencer Secrets class. That's why I save it to the end because I always want people to leave before they get it. It's millionaire resources. It's all the resources that we use to get faster, get stronger, get better, see details, see this, see that. and I don't feel comfortable, I'm gonna give you all the opportunity to get it without paying $547. You understand what I'm saying? It'll still go in there, and that's just design. But resources are important. Some of y'all are like one resource away from hitting the jackpot. And I don't know who you are, but I know if you had the right tools, you can get there faster, right? I still remember that struggle of, man, if you could just tell me how you made this, you know what I'm saying? If you can just tell me what you do, like how you do them graphics. Like, how many of y'all got that question? What you use to make graphics look like that and all that stuff? I got plenty. I have plenty. Plus, we're gonna do like a little cross-pollination of some of y'all resources too. And I'm gonna set a goal. So let me end this real quick. Antonio T.
You
Smith
sharing
Jr.
your graphic file, brother?
I am. You can't play better. You can't dominate. Phil, please go ahead and tell us about what's happening later today.
Yeah, at 6:30 Eastern, we're going to be doing the Power of Your Subconscious Mind. This chapter is Scientists Use the Subconscious Mind. Wow. That's the chapter we'll be covering. And then at 8 o'clock, we've got somebody speaking at 8. Let me think who it is. Hey, it's Diana.
All right. Look at that. Yeah.
Diana.
It's all that. It's all that.
He always calls her that.
Woman when I get mad. Woman. Right. All right. So what we're gonna do now. Hold on. Well, if I left it to the public, we'll keep it out there on the YouTube.